Halt, vile knaves, prepare to die. Is he really talking to us? Asked Fred. I looked around the small clearing, a dirt path from one end to the other. Fred, Sam, and I at one end. A large guy on a black horse stood at the other. He was dressed from head to toe in black armor like you see in those books about knights and castles. I don't see any other vile knaves around, I said. Sam cleaned his glasses on his t-shirt and took another look around. Yes, there is a black knight over there. The sun glinted off a very real and very sharp-looking sword hanging from the black knight's side. And yes, he looks like he's planning to hurt us, added Sam. Hey, it's not my fault. I told Fred not to open it. You did not, said Fred. Did too. Did not. Did too. Excuse me, guys, asked Sam. Can we discuss this later? I think that large, angry man in the black can is getting ready to kill us now. The Black Knight lowered his lance and set his shield in front of him. Hello there, Mr. Knight. My name is Joe. My friends and I seem to have lost our way from my birthday party. Could you just take us to the nearest phone? None shall pass, boomed the Black Knight. If you could just point the way toward New York, we'll be on our way. None shall pass, boomed the Dark Knight. I think I heard that somewhere before, said Sam. Thy tongue and garb art passing strange. Methinks thy band hails not from this shore. This is the introduction to one of my favorite kids' books. It's called the Time Warp series. There's 14 books in the series, and the first one is Knights of the Round Table. It's written by John Sciascia and illustrated by Lane Smith. And I was first introduced to this book by one of my previous BYUI English professors, and it's become a favorite in our family. It's a modern fantasy book, and it takes place in the contemporary setting in today's world, and it also has a little bit of an element of historical fiction because the book gives a lot of details about what is happening in that time period, and it just kind of describes, you know, that setting. But I would definitely say that it's a modern fantasy book because not only does it take place in today's world, but it has a lot of fantasy elements like time travel, dragons, and giants. This book is very comparable to the Magic Tree House series, except this one has a lot more humor and I think is just a little bit of an easier read. So I would recommend it for beginning readers, ages 6 to 9, probably grades like 1st through 4th grade. There's about 60 pages in the book, but they're broken up by little illustrations throughout the book. The illustrations are simple, but really catchy and fun. They're a lot like what you would find in Roald Dahl's book, James and the Giant Peach, or Hooray for Diffendor by Dr. Seuss, which were also illustrated by this same artist. The story is about 3 boys who time travel to King Arthur's court through a magical book that one of them receives as a birthday present. It's full of adventure and kid-appropriate suspense as the 3 boys encounter different obstacles like giants and dragons and the evil Black Knight that I just read about, and even Merlin the Wizard and King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. They have to prove that they are not evil wizards, and they have to find their way home, and not only is there a lot of action in the book, but it's just so cleverly written, and there's a lot of fun humor. The book is not only entertaining and just really imaginative, but the story also teaches about how the 3 boys who come together with different strengths and personalities, they each have to learn how to magnify those gifts that they have and work together as a team to overcome the obstacles that they face and find their way home. It's really cool because it shows that they're brave, loyal friends, they're resourceful, they have positive attitudes, and I love that this is just so different from a lot of today's other books that are in this genre where there's kind of some crudeness or some negative teasing from, you know, one kid to the next, you know, between the characters. This one doesn't have anything like that. It's just very wholesome and very uplifting, but really fun. I see this as a great book for kids who maybe don't like to read or don't like fantasy. This would be a great introduction for them. The book is so clever, and well written. It would be a really fun classroom book to read as an introduction for a history lesson, maybe for a specific time period. Each of the books in the series focuses on a different time period, so that's really fun. It would be a great read alone for maybe some of the older readers, or like a nightly chapter book to read at tuck-in with your kids. It makes an awesome read aloud. It has a lot of fun characters and voices that you can read. That's what I did with my kids. And some of the fun kids activities that you could do, you could make swords and shields out of cardboard. You could get, you can see these are well loved in my house, foam Nerf swords, and just let your kids battle it out together. You could pretend that you're Merlin the Wizard and put on a magic show, or experiment with, you know, oil and food coloring and water in the kitchen, and do little science experiments like maybe Merlin would do up in his tower. Just lots of fun ideas. So I hope that you guys will check this book out and maybe read it with your kids or just on your own. Thank you.